Okay, sorry there, guys. Just getting myself organised. Just let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. G'day, Bobby. We get up and running. Should really go back and delete that first minute out, actually. So when you listen to it later, you don't have to sit through the first minute or so. Alrighty, how are we going? Who else we got on today? Quiet morning by the looks of it. All right, look, I'll just get up and running anyway. Welcome to Trade Setup and just the overnight review. So we'll just go through a few charts, bits and pieces, see where the overnight action will take us for the day and what could be setting up on different markets that we're looking at. We've got some currencies being keeping an eye on lately, and a few have played out quite nicely as expected, and a few have probably potentially still got some work to do before they set up. Gold's kicking off nicely as we're expecting, so there could be a lot more upside in that move. But we'll look at that in a second. Just before I get started, what I just wanted to quickly show you and would appreciate what we've got here. So we've just getting organized it's on TradingView. Sorry. I don't know if we know many people get into TradingView, but you can download it and use it for free, or you can pay for different levels. I think they've got Pro, Premium, and different bits and pieces where you can hook up data and you can trade through it, or you can just use it for multi charts, or they've got scanners on there and stuff like that. What we've actually done is set up the TradeSetup account through that, and we're just getting started. So we'd be posting bits and pieces on there, and it'd be much appreciated for me if you can jump on, or if you do use it, just find us and you'd be linking to us and follow us, and there'll be some bits and pieces on there where we're putting up constantly as well. Just to, I guess, try and build the profile up. It'd be great if you can follow us and like anything that pops up there, but it's very useful stuff. I think it's very useful stuff, and there's some really good on there when you come up with ideas. You can get onto ideas, and it just shows you what authors are looking at, what bits and pieces. So some on there are good, and some on there you can skip, I guess, as you're going through, and you can learn some bits and pieces on there as well. But we're getting active. We'll get more active on there. So feel free to join and follow us. Let's get into it. So yeah, overnight, market dropped. Pretty much the US opened and fell over. From there, it opened pretty much in line and then fell over. The European markets were sort of under pressure as well. We had Germany come out with some data previous night, which come in well below expectations, but I think they had some consumer data out last night that come in slightly better than expected. Oh, that's great, Bobby. So see if you can find us on TradingView and jump in and follow us and spread the love, spread the word. So anyway, yeah, so it's Germany had some data come out which buoyed the market. It sort of offset slightly, but nothing too much. Offset the previous data. But either way, I think in Europe they're looking for, or the EU anyway, looking for that economy to slow potentially. It's not, I mean, Germany is a major factor in the EU. And if they're starting to slow or showing signs of slow, it really does, it probably leans towards a lot more cuts and stimulus from the ECB. So yeah, that was sort of the set the tone for the US when they opened, and they opened and pretty much sent straight down. Now, the one thing that there's obviously the impeachment, which is causing concern, but I look at probably more fluff. He's been, I don't know what parties, I'm not massive into politics, whether the Democrats, the opposite side to Trump, or I think it's the Democrats, have basically been smashing him since he's come on, since he became president. So the latest one now is an impeachment, and I think there was news out just about 7:30 this morning, saying I think their formal proceedings to impeach Trump has started, and that caused a bit of concern last night. But I still don't think that's the biggest market mover. The biggest market mover for me, and what I'm seeing, is more obviously to do with trade war. So last night at 10:30, I think it was 10:30 or midnight. I think it was midnight, the data release come out on consumer spending. Consumer sentiment come out, and that was lower than and weaker than expected. So That's a major factor, consumer spending in the US economy, which has been buoying this, I think, 11-year rally. Bobby, you're getting on there, mate. So I just seen it pop up in the top, bottom right corner. Bobby's liking stuff. What a legend. Um, so yeah, that's consumer spending is a major support to the economy, and if that could turn on a dime, they could just stop, bang, and then you can see data suddenly spike lower, coming out way below expectations, and that is cause for concern. So when you've got manufacturing slowing because of the trade war, and you've got other areas slowing, or basically uh, corporate spending or company spending into the US, which is always going to lead to growth, that's slowing because of the trade war. Manufacturing. So if you add to that consumer spending, which it brings back onto cards a recession. I think that's what people are looking at. It also brings back on the cards a rate cut. So there is potential for some support from a rate cut or rate cut expectations to increase. There you go, spat it out. So last night, we're just going to, what are we now, 9:53? Let's just see where the SPY opened before we get right into it. So we're expecting, the market has bounced a bit off these lows. We're expecting down 70 or so on the ASX. Let's just get rid of that. Down 70 or so. We got a level. Sorry, let me just get rid of that. So we just got a level here at 66.79, which is really just the market sold off, had a bit of a reaction towards those lows at 66.46, bounced, pushed back down into the close and held onto those lows into the close. We're just bouncing up. I would have really expected a bit of a wash out of 66.46, but it looks like it's going to target the 79 area and pop up. So it just depends if it's down. We're expecting sort of down 70, so where it closed here at 4 o'clock to where it closed pretty much at 7 a.m. is the difference, is what you're looking for, the ASX to open, which is down around 70. So if it pops up another 10 or so, you could look, if it holds below this level, it's just a bit of a wash out of the shorts. It may target a squeeze on the shorts at the moment prior to the open, or the 5 past 10 when it starts to settle down a bit more and the ASX is half open towards finishing opening. We'll just see if that can sort of pop up there and see how it plays out. But if it can't hold and it starts pressing down, it's just a bit of a squeeze on any sort of shorts that build up, the open, squeeze, and then pop back down again, all prior to basically the ASX fully opening at 10 past 10. So that's that. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on the open, just what happens on the SPY. So we've got US yen. We were looking at this yesterday, and we've been posting that on, it was one of our first few posts on TradingView, and we're looking for that to roll over. It was trading around this zone, so you can see I've marked it up trading. We're looking for the shoulder trade. Instead, it sort of popped out, which you can expect a lot of on currencies. It gets a level, a key sort of an anchor level or a swing level, whatever you want to call it, washes it out, can't finish above. Then you're looking for the shoulder, which played out beautifully. So in hindsight, what we were looking for did play out. We just had to wait for that spike or that washout of that level. So what that does is traps a few longs. You'll get a few shorts that are building here getting stopped out, and you're getting a few longs that are probably going, okay, we're looking for that bounce back up to a different sell zone, potentially, or a different level, traps them, and then cleans them back out and they move back down when they get stopped out and they have to sell back into the market. So that's what you got there. You got the shoulder play out beautifully, punch down, and there could be more room to play out on that one. I don't know if it's showing. There's not too many solid levels, but you could be looking to, if you can see what I'm looking at there, this zone in here. Let's just draw it up. It could be this zone in here, which could provide some sort of support reaction between buyers and sellers. It's pushed up there once, had to come back before it sort of found some more liquidity, pull back, higher low, which punched through, come back down and retest, found some liquidity to take it up. So what it could be doing is pressing back down to that zone. But we'll just have to wait and see. You've got the pound. Not much action on the pound. It did pop up last night. You've got, what was it, the Prime Minister, the Supreme Court found that his delays on the Brexit or whatever it was, they found that it was unlawful. So that's popped the pound up, and it's brought into fact a deal that's a Brexit. So not leaving the EU without a deal. It's sort of maybe leaving the EU or Brexit has been delayed, or potentially they're going to come up with a deal, but it's taken off the cards more, just leaving on the 31st of October without a deal, and just causing that sort of, I guess, kerfuffle into the pound and the FTSE. Euro, we're looking for that to roll over around here and just hold that lower high, but instead it's sort of consolidated and then pressed up. So it could be the same as what we're looking at on the US yen. Could pop up through, wash it out, and then drop. But we're keeping an eye on that one. There is that liquidity zone where it's just testing up into now 110.24 or 25, excuse me, where we could find that. But again, if it does pop up and finish below, we'll be watching for that lower high to play out, or the shoulder, we like to say, really pressing that market lower. I think the euro, I'd be surprised if it really rallies hard on the back of what's happening with Germany and those figures, manufacturing there, and all that sort of pressure, which you'd find pressure on the euro. Or, I mean, you could be looking at more stimulus which would support the euro, but we'll see. We'll see. The Aussie, not much there. It is starting to find, it's pushing back up into that resistance zone around 68.07, 68.10, even number. We were looking for that to roll over. It did, but it's been bouncing and consolidating down those lows, and it's testing back up towards that resistance zone. So from here, pretty much the same. If it can't wash out there and it starts faltering here and holding a lower high, yeah, it could be a bit of a sell, and that longer term could be taking us all the way back down. I mean, it could take us right down here, back down to 6,700. We'll have to see. That's quite a good retracement of this leg up. So you got that move, that big powerful move up, took us through 68, say 20. And then we've had that contraction back in, just back below that zone. Whether it's enough to hold it, if it breaks through here and pulls back and builds more of a major higher low, then yeah, the pressure's on the upside. Spot gold's playing out nicely. There could be a good move up still, and it could take us up to that 1550. This is on the CFD, not the futures. I think the futures are up around 70, give or take, which I could get up here, I guess. Have I got gold futures? Yeah, gold futures. So. Oh, it's in the daily. So it's up towards, those highs at 1563, 65. There you go. So just keep an eye on that. The trend is still up. It's still going strong. It's pushed down to that support when we're discussing that, and we're looking for that bounce. It did play out nicely. It had a few retests of the lows, which not surprising because things were looking quite good. Then Trump was talking up a deal. Gold was coming under pressure, but it was continually holding up at that zone. So it just goes to show that the bears not out of the woods yet, and the bulls are still in charge, taking charge of that support. So it is holding higher levels. So the trend is up off that support of around that 1490, 1480 liquidity zone, pushing up. So really, it could be pulling back, holding another higher level, and then ready for a pop. This actually doesn't look too bad. You've got that move up, that reaction lower, which it reacted off that was it 1524 quite hard. And then it's been chopping around. So if this chops around here and holds like an inside higher level, and you get that cup formation, that could easily take us up through the highs at 35. And, for that push, it could be a last-ditch push to 1550. We'll just wait and see. UK, yeah, rolled over. Not much to talk there. Wall Street, like we said, rolled over. We've got that played out quite nicely. So this is the scenario. It still maybe hasn't finished yet. We could be building that lower high here. That's what we drew up. Was it yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, yesterday. So we drew that scenario, popped down, lower high, and just powerful move into that support zone. It was around 27,720. So that's played out really nice. There could be more to come if this holds another lower high and that impeachment gets how do you say, gets a run on, then yeah, that could really move down quite strong and take out that zone. But still, that overall consolidation has moved from that bid zone to the offer zone and straight back down again. So whether if it starts to really hold a lower high longer term and you get a stronger move through it and really start to spike through, at the moment, that's what it's looking through when you get that run into a zone and that sort of short, sharp bounce. And if it consolidates here and you get more time under your belt where it's holding that lower level, then that to me is leading towards a push through the zone, a push through that support zone. But we'll see. Let's just draw that up. The S&P, it's similar levels. You got that anchor to the uptrend. It's come back down. You had an inside support zone here, 2980, but it's plowed through that, and it's pulled up short of the anchor zone. So pretty much the same as the Dow, except the Dow was more choppy in between. So it has reacted off there. So if this holds below, say that 2980, then yeah, a sell-off could be on the cards and could be coming to your theatre soon. And that's it. So we've got Germany. We were looking at that as a short around this stage, and it did play out quite nicely. It's just looking for those shoulders. You got that really flush higher, And that there, and I think that was probably around the 4 o'clock mark. That was 9 a.m. So here was the move just on the open of the futures market was this little lower high. So the open of the futures, you've got a bit of a move hound, and it sort of consolidated, chopped around, and that really accelerated through the US session. Accelerated low and took out that low. So that's what we're looking for. I was really just marking up here. You can see what we're looking at for. That's sort of the reaction back up. And once you got this ploughing, and if you can see that, the market's chopping around between support and resistance, push down through, and then it's reacted back up. So maybe it's what we can expect from the S&P and the Dow, a big sort of reaction back up again as the bulls start to really give it a good nudge. They run into some more selling pressure at a lower level below that, and that's a key lower high before you get in selling just really coming in and ploughing lower. And it did target through that lower 20, sort of 12,265, and it has just it's grinding back up at the moment, but we'll see how that plays out. There could be more downside on the cards here, or much more. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, that's probably about it, guys. Well, excuse me. Let's just see. Is that what I'm looking for? That's what I'm looking for. The SPY, it is hovering around that level, 66.79. So for now, what I'd probably just glancing at this price action now, the way it's powerful move down. So it's going to be a bit of a short squeeze you would expect. The shorts are built up all the way into this zone, bit of a short squeeze. And if it runs out of steam, maybe somewhere around the 90 zone, 66.90, another 10 points higher, just give or take around the MAs. If it holds below these MAs and starts to show some signs of weakness, there could be a lower high coming into play and pressing back down to the lows end of day. Just have to see what plays out. Let's just see. Oh, I haven't got it open. Let me just give me 1 second. I'll open up the other. There you go. So that was ASX. Was that down 28 at the moment? So we're only halfway through. It's probably got more to come, but it doesn't look quite as bad as at this stage as what we expect. So just keep an eye on that. We'll see how we go, and yeah, we'll speak to you again tomorrow. So just stay safe out there, guys. It could be a bit of bearish action on the cards soon, but we won't know just yet. We'll have to wait and see day by day and just see how all the action plays out. But a few ideas there. Any questions, send through an email to support@tradesetup.com.au and I'll get straight back to you. Otherwise, have a good day and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Cheers. Bye.